Welcome to KIRKS Toolbox webinar series. This is our special edition with our Vice President Al Benish. We're glad to have him. We're covering today the Eagle Transit Pro. It is the must-have multi-tool of the transit and DPW garage. We're going to cover how it is the bus pusher. You can move dead vehicles into the bay with ease. And we're going to show you all the features that are going to boost your maintenance team's efficiency and how you can determine the right Transit Pro model for your application. So today, we're going to introduce our panelists. And we have Mr. Bob Kirkman. He is partner, co-president of KIRKS. And Al Benish is the vice president of KIRKS. Al has, he came actually to KIRKS in 1977 from Toro Manufacturing. He facilitated the transition for KIRKS from automotive parts supply to industrial sales nationally, including GM, Chrysler, and Ford. He oversees all of the sales of Eagle Tuggers and Transit Pros to manufacturers, industrial companies, municipalities, and transit authorities. So we're glad to have you here, Al. He is a wealth of information on all things Eagle Tuggers and Transit Pros. I am Linda Kleist, your host, and Abby Thompson. Say hi, Abby. Hi. You can wave. Is on technical. If you have any issues, please let us know in the chat. We'll see it. If you can't hear, whatever, let us know. Abby will take care of it. Bob and Al also want to be able to answer your questions. So you can ask a question and put it into the chat. We'll save some time at the end to cover that. So Al, you can take it away. We're going to first cover a little overview of the Tuggers and then get right into details for the Transit Pro. Looking forward to it. Take it away, Al.
Well, hello, everybody. This is a good day for us at KIRKS Automotive promoting the Eagle Tug lineup here. Tuggers have been around for a long time, and we have a full series of Tuggers that pretty well can do from dolly exchange in production facilities, which is basically hauling dolly carts with skid loads of material to produce a product from dock side where the semis pull up to line side where the operators put the material into play on whatever they're producing. There's a lot of cost savings that comes along with this type of a theory, and that is due to the fact that you have less amount of personnel required to get amount of skids from dock side to line side as compared to using traditional high-lows in that. One tugger can pull 3 dollies with 3 skid loads of parts as compared to using 3 fork trucks that can only pick up 1 skid at a time to go from dock side to line side. So there's 3 times the pallets moving with 1 trip through a plant, which also is more economically or ergonomically safe for the operator, because a lot of times they take the stuff from dock side to line side and then they have to distribute it down the line. Well, if an operator has to go 10 feet and stop, get off, take off a tote, put it down there for the line person to pull parts out of, and then take the empty tote and put it back on, move another 10 feet and do it again. That's a lot of standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down. So that's why we create stand sit tugs. Once again, with dolly or with tuggers, you're driving through a plant, you have full vision, less chance of running into obstacles. Most importantly, less chance of running into personnel coming out of the side lines of an assembly line. And one piece of equipment is more efficient and energy efficient because we don't have to charge 3 electric lift trucks or fill up 3 propane lift trucks to do the job of 1 electric tow tractor. We have a multitude of different types of tuggers in the Eagle lineup that we use depending on the applications. We have production line equipment that can go up to heavy diesel powered applications that can do over 3,000 pounds of pulling power, to smaller diesel tuggers, which we use for a multitude of different reasons, that go up to about 150,000 pounds of pulling Both units are also all-wheel drive for inside-outside application. Those of us that live in the northern country, during the wintertime, we get some snow weather and that stuff, and the four-wheel drive comes into a real successful thing. Only tugger that's in four-wheel drive that I know of today in the marketplace anywhere. We also have the smaller tuggers that are electric for inside plant operations, such as STT series and RTT series, different weight capacities in that. And then we have a XTT series, which is all electric, all-wheel. Once again, this is all-wheel drive, but this is also an all-wheel steer unit for larger pulling of 100,000 plus pounds of capacity, indoors and outdoors. And then the last style we have is what we call bobtails, which are gas versions used very heavily in air freight applications such as DHL, things like that ship LD3 skids all over the world for manufacturing in this. But today we want to focus in on one of the biggest, more popular used, which is becoming very popular use, is what we call the Transit Pro bus pusher or large equipment pusher, because it, besides buses, can push garbage trucks, any large truck, any large vehicle, period. Most buses start about 55,000 pounds and go up to about 80,000 pounds. And same would be with garbage trucks. So we have them available in both the diesel powered all-wheel drive application, and we have them in electric for those that are interested in electric applications. The TTR series comes in the 8,000 drawbar pole size up to 12,000 drawbar pole capacity. In other words, 85,000 pounds of pulling power and pushing power to over 120 to 130 pounds pushing and pulling power. So what you want to do is, what are you going to use for pushing? That's what we got to determine here. Now, the other thing is we have the same thing available in the electric system. Instead of diesel powered for environmentals, this is becoming very popular in the United States right now. You have the electric. These are 80-volt power drive units. They consist of all-wheel drive, and the electric also has all-wheel steer for tight maneuverability, for a big piece of equipment to push these things into tight areas, such as a repair stall and that. When you're pushing a 40-foot bus and that into a little slot, you want to be able to make sure that whatever's pushing it can maneuver very quickly and very tightly in those areas. All of these Transit Pro are available on KIRKS website, kirks.com. We have regular technical sheets like the TTR6 TP spec sheet that'll go into details of all of the turning radiuses, availability of power, load capacities, and that in detail. Additional models with some of the other ones I talked about, we can put different options on and make for different applications, such as in steel mills and that stuff, where you're pulling large rolls of steel that are on carts that carry 100,000 pounds or more. We have different requirements too. That's why we address each one as a special application to your needs. Every transit and fleet garage has a challenge of maneuvering disabled buses, as well as large trucks, garbage trucks, around into the different areas in the repair garage, into the stalls where they do the work on. Traditionally, that's not a very roomy floor space. Is always a premium in a repair garage, so you're trying to push a large piece of equipment in a very tight area. So the turning radius is very important on that. That's why we like to work with you in detail prior to you deciding on which direction you would like to go with the stuff. Moving dead vehicles in the bays are very easy with these Transit Pros. We also have other accessories I'll get into that can work as maintenance equipment out in the yard, prepping them to go in the repair garage that can also help on that. The robustness of the weight capacities of pushing and towing capabilities of these vehicles are very large. Like I say, we start at about 85,000 pounds and we go up depending on what your requirements are and your need. And that way, when we're pushing it, we do it and can maneuver these large pieces of equipment safely into those tight areas of repair areas. Using a tow trucks were used in the past, increased risks of some types of injuries to the vehicles because they're not as maneuverable. A lot of them didn't have all-wheel drive, so they're banging into them and to the bumpers and hoping that we don't do damage to the equipment. And what we're trying to do is repair equipment here, not cause more repair issues. With the increase of being able to do this and handling this material without injuring people or damaging any of the surrounding vehicles, or the other thing is the actual repair bay itself. A lot of them have lifts on them. We don't want to crash a vehicle into the lift and damage the lift or any of the surrounding sides of the building or that might be there. The longevity of these pieces of equipment of the Eagles, we've had them out there for, oh gosh, over 15 to 20 years now. We don't really have a big used market because it seems like once they go out to the end users, they just keep on working and working and working. So that is always been the great selling point of these things. Once you get one, as long as you maintain it, you should not be seeing another replacement for a lot of years to come. And the versatility of the maintenance tax is what I'd like to get into here, and that is some of this optional equipment you see sitting on the tugger in this picture. So let's go into a little more detail of what all we add to these to make it more maintenance. Starting with, we have rack-mounted spotlights for, obviously, it never fails. You got to go out and start the buses early in the morning and the sun's not up yet, depending on the time of year, and you can't see to hook things up. We can pull up with this, crank on the extra floodlights, and they're in all four corners of the vehicle. So if you're backing up or pulling forward or to the side, you can light up the area with those lights there. We have reserve air tanks on here for the air system that we mount on these pushers, the Transit Pro bus pushers. It comes with a hose line attachment there with 50 foot of hose line. If you go out to try and push one in for repair and find out that has a flat tire, then you will need that. We have a fire extinguisher that comes available, obviously for safety reasons, both only for the tugger, but also for potential putting out a fire on the bus itself or the piece of truck. We have specially made push bumpers here that is taken a couple of evolutions before we got to this UHMW polyurethane front bumper. It really works good on preventing any scarring or damaging against the large piece of equipment you're pushing on here. It actually spins the stuff off without putting in scrapes, dents, and stuff like that. Another optional piece of equipment we have to make this maintenance vehicle is for the people in the northern climate that has the white stuff that comes every year. Snow, it has a quick release plow with that you can put on there to push out the tight spots to move the buses or the trucks or garbage trucks, whatever you need to get them inside the garage in that snowstorm and go from there. We have a Van Air, good old cap start, quick start, and air compressor system that generates the air to the reserve tanks and through that system there. And we have the long cables here to start vehicles in the lot waiting to be put in for repair. And we have rear push bumpers with the same UHMW polyurethane material. So if you're trying to back something in, you can push it gently and it will not tear up the vehicle when it's pushing. All of these units can come complete with a total cab assembly for the operators. It has heated, comes standard with the heated and defroster and wiper system and that inside the cab assembly. There is an optional AC for those that need that are down in the hot weather states, especially where you're not worried as much about the heat, but they sure would like to have a little AC in there when you're out in the yard trying to push in dead soldiers here for repair. All of our units come with ergonomic seating. It's very important to us that the operators be comfortable and the machine does not do any damage to them. It is single seating on the diesel powered one, which would be the TTR series, but the electric ETT series Transit Pros, they come with dual seating, which is both ergonomic seating. And some of the additional other options that you might want to take a look at, depending what your maintenance plan is, would be different types of rear hitches to go in between that push bumpers that we have in the rear. For towing, sometimes you want to hook up tow type configuration equipment. We have backup cameras for those that have applications where they would like the operator to be backing up and be able to see on a dashboard without turning their head around. Obviously, the snowplow we talked about, and we now have what we call extended height on the front push bumper. That has come into play because some of the design garbage removal trucks have a very high back end because they're front mounted dump. And so they have a very high bumper and they needed a higher push bumper to hit the back end properly. So we have that option available. For all of our units that we showed earlier, we can customize any of them to the needs of what you're trying to accomplish there on your maintenance goals. Why start thinking about this today and not tomorrow? Well, all of this stuff, number one, we need to figure out what exactly you would like to get and what you need. Then comes the almighty question, capital money for the equipment. Somebody's got to go find to the big boss and ask him, can we get some money for this stuff? And then the funding, once they say maybe we can, needs to go through your approval process, however your organization does it. Then we have turnaround time. Once we get all this approved and actually a PO written, we want to make sure we can produce it and get it to you in a timely manner according to your budget requirements.
And then Al,
Yeah.
we wanted to be able to show them, can you I think I can back it up. We want to show them this quick little video.
Oh, of one in operation.
Showing this,
This is actual end user.
So you were talking about going into that bay. There he is.
Yeah, that's the tightness that you don't want to be pushing in an angle on, because you don't want to take down any of the side stuff.
That's right.
So with that, one of the most critical things to start this whole thing going is what we call the site survey. And you can email us. I know you can go on our website and download one, or you can contact us anytime so we can start working on your site survey to give you information so that you can decide on what you really need in your application. That's why we need a site survey, because there's different ways to be used. Everybody has a different application and we want to work with you side by side. There's ramps that come involved that changes your load capacities, and that's just simple mathematics there, and elevations going in and out of business. Some buildings have 1, 2, 3% ramps going in and out, which changes the load capacity of any unit. And some of them go up to 10 inches in a ramp capacity, which would really changes the equation. The environment we're working in. If you're going from the outside to the inside, if I'm down in Arizona, it's pretty well dry most of the year. It's not a big deal for traction in that. But if I'm in Michigan, where it can rain, sleet, snow, it changes the whole scenario, what's going on. And that's the same with most of the north portion of the country. Weight capacity, we want to make sure we're getting you the information for the right size machine so we don't have any weight issues of the capability of being able to push that weight safely and carefully. And once again, gets back to the weather conditions. Obviously, we'd like to have it sunny and dry every day, but it doesn't seem to happen that way in this country. And then weight with the turning radiuses. We have sold some of these pushers to some repair facilities that are multi-floor facilities, and they have ramps. You have to push the dead soldiers up to a second floor to the actual bays to do the work. So that requires a lot more of us looking at the turning radiuses of the ramp. Is it a straight ramp? Is it a circular type turn, like a parking structure? Those are all things we want to make sure that we have covered for you so that we recommend the right piece of equipment. Any questions?
We did have our first question that came in. We'll hop to it. So first come, first serve. On the electric version, how are air compressors operated?
That is a separate van air system. If you're talking about the air compressor and quick start unit, that does currently today runs off of a gasoline powered engine.
Quick answer. Very good. Thank you. Another question that came in, should we transition from diesel to electric models?
That's a decision of all the organizations going on, as it seems to be a decision on whether we're going to drive electric cars or electric trucks, or we're going to stay with IC engine vehicles. Both work very good. They're getting better. Some operations, because the buses are traditionally all diesel fueled and that, it's more economical for them to just use the diesel fuel they're using for the buses and refuel the engine as compared to setting up a charging station for the electric vehicle.
And that was another follow-up. What are the charging requirements for the electric models?
Basically, you got to have most chargers require either a 220 service or a 480 service, and be single or three phase. That we would work out on your site survey to make sure you get the proper recommended stuff for that application.
Okay. And then how does the Transit Pro, the Eagle Transit Pro, compare to competitors?
Well, the Transit Pro we've developed over years with a lot of transit agencies across the United States, and we have really fine-tuned it with whether it be the polyurethane bumpers to keep from damaging the actual piece of equipment you're pushing in and out of those places, or the all-wheel drive, which we have, which nobody else has. And then the maintenance stuff we have pre-mounted in. You can buy it as a total package, which we found that most servicing large commercial garages, they like all of those tools at their fingertips, where nobody else has really put together. There's some people that have taken a basic tow tractor, and if it's a dealer that they know, have put on a quick charge unit on it, mounted it there, but they haven't taken the time to put in the engineering hours and that stuff that we have with Eagle.
Okay, we just got another question in. Can these be custom painted? I know you mentioned custom paint before, but to match our company's corporate colors. So we've got a person who cares about the brand there.
Yes, we've done that. Usually with the site survey and that, as we get fine tuning it, we will ask for a paint code. So we get the exact paint code that you want or you're using on the rest of your equipment. Same as we also do wraps, which is a new thing where there's, if you look at a DHL truck, they all look the same because it's not painted that way. It's a material wrap that goes around it, and we install those on them too. We work with every client, however they want to have their visual notification all over the equipment.
That's cool. Do you know of any government incentives that are available for purchasing the Eagle Transit Pro?
There is right now, there is some companies we can get you hooked up with that specialize in that. Most of it, the real incentives are going with the electric, because obviously everybody's pushing electric vehicles in this world today. So there is a lot of rebates, especially for independent agencies, not so much the government agencies, because we have government discounts already pre-programmed available when we quote those.
Okay. I think there's two more questions. How many Transit Pros should a standard garage have on hand?
Traditionally, depending on the size of a garage, one is more than sufficient. You're not usually having that many dead soldiers being pushed in a building at one time, just due to traffic and safety reasons and that. But if you have 5 garages, you would probably want one in each garage, so that'd be 5 units.
Okay. And then you had mentioned that it takes, this is a question about the don't delay because of the funding, the capital equipment costs, approvals. Once that's through the process, what do you have an estimate for a turnaround time?
Oh, manufacturing today, ever since COVID set in here, has changed drastically. I would say diesel powered units are usually anywhere 42 weeks at the most, from date of receiving the actual confirmed order, and a lot of times less. We just delivered 2 of them that were only 120 days after we received the order.
Oh.
So it's a matter of time, what the production manufacturing backlog is. And electric takes a little longer due to the fact that whether you're buying electric high-lows or electric anything nowadays, it seems like all the individual components, or vast majority of crucial components, are manufactured overseas. And when COVID came in, a lot of those countries just totally shut down production, and they're way behind.
That wraps up our questions. Bob, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
I just want to thank Al for doing a good job and answering all those questions. And I have found one thing, that some transit authorities, now that they have electric buses, there may be some requirements that they're able to get buses out of their facilities if there's an issue with the electric buses. So I have run into that. So that's another useful purpose of having a Transit Pro handy in case you need to get an electric bus out of a facility during a quote thermal event. That could be very helpful.
So maybe that goes back to that question about should we get a diesel or electric Transit Pro? Get a diesel Transit Pro.
Well, I'm just, but for the large buses. So it's kind of like you said, it's kind of like the Swiss Army knife. It handles all kinds of, like a multi-tool. It has a lot of functionality once you have one that authorities will come up with. And I'm sure if they talk to other authorities that have had them over the years, there's a lot of different uses.
Yeah.
So,
Very
thanks,
cool.
Al. Thanks, Linda.
Yes.
Thank
If you
you
have
all.
any questions that did not get answered, Mr. Benish is there, a wealth of information, as you can already tell. He had a lot of great stories to tell too. I wish we had more time to go into some of the success stories of the Transit Pro, but please reach out to us at kirks.com. You can email Al or get on the phone. And also, just a reminder that site survey is online. We will be sending the recording of this webinar to you. If you've registered, it'll also be available on our YouTube channel. And in there's more on how to get out that site survey. We'd also, once you close this webinar, there'll be a quick brief Q&A, and we just to see how you like the webinar. And then we don't want you to miss the monthly updates that come from KIRKS to your inbox on things that are relevant to your industry, product updates. You'll want to stay in the know, so you can scan that right now and sign up for those. We do not flood your inbox with emails. And if not, then you can also sign up on the website. KIRKS is your partner for parts and helps you escape the parts trap. So anything that you're needing, give us a call. A person will help you find the part you need. We want to thank you for joining us. We want to keep you moving and navigate the parts landscape. Thanks again, and we're signing out.